There's a moment in human history that we rarely talk about. A moment when survival wasn't about being the strongest. It was about being the smartest, the most strategic, the one who struck first. Long before swords, long before armor, long before empires rose and fell, there was a simple object, a piece of wood, a sharpened stone, and the courage to throw it. This is the story of the throwing spear. The weapon that taught us that distance could mean the difference between life and death, between protecting your family and losing everything. And it all started with fear. Imagine you're standing at the edge of your territory. The sun is setting, the air smells like rain and smoke. Your people are behind you. Children, elders, the ones who can't fight. And ahead, moving through the tall grass, you see them. Strangers, armed, hungry, coming for what's yours. Your heart is pounding. Your hands are shaking. You know what happens if they reach you. You've seen it before. The screams, the blood, the silence that follows. But you have something they don't expect. A weapon that doesn't require you to get close. You lift your arm. You feel the weight of the spear, the balance, the sharpened stone at the tip, fixed with sinew and resin you prepared days ago. You throw, and everything changes. The throwing spear wasn't just a tool, it was a revolution in human thinking. It was the first time we realized that we didn't have to meet violence face to face, that we could strike from a distance, that we could protect ourselves without sacrificing ourselves. This weapon was typically between 1.5 to 2 meters long, made from light, straight wood, hazel, ash, young branches carefully selected for flexibility and strength. The tip was the key. In the earliest versions, it was simply wood hardened in fire. Later, it became stone, flint, obsidian, bone, antler. Each culture adapted based on what the land provided. But the genius wasn't in the materials. It was in the design, the balance, the weight distribution that kept the point stable during flight, the aerodynamics that allowed it to fly true even in wind. This wasn't random. This was engineering, problem solving, innovation born from necessity. Let me take you to a specific moment, a real moment frozen in time, 300,000 years ago, in what we now call Germany. A group of early humans stood near a lake. They were hunting, but not with their hands, not with clubs. They were throwing spears. We know this because archaeologists found them, preserved in the mud, the Schöningen spears, some of the oldest wooden weapons ever discovered. And when scientists studied them, they realized something incredible. These weren't crude sticks. They were carefully crafted, balanced, designed for throwing. The people who made them understood physics. They understood trajectory. They understood that the center of gravity needed to be forward, that the wood needed to be straight, that the tip needed weight. They understood survival. But here's what breaks my heart, and what fills me with awe at the same time. These weapons weren't just for hunting animals. They were for defending against other humans. We know this because of the bones, human bones, with fractures, with puncture wounds, with injuries consistent with being struck by thrown spears. These weren't accidents. These were battles, conflicts over territory, over resources, over survival. And the throwing spear gave the defender an advantage, a chance to stop the threat before it reached the vulnerable, before it reached the children hiding in the cave, before it reached the elders who couldn't run. Think about the psychology of this weapon, the strategy. You're defending your home. You see the enemy approaching. You don't wait for them to arrive. You don't let them dictate the terms of the fight. You strike first, from 15 meters away. 20, 30 if you're skilled, the spear flies, silent, fast, deadly. It doesn't have to kill immediately, it just has to wound, to break the will, to make the attacker realize that continuing forward means death. And often, that was enough. The sight of a companion falling, the realization that the defenders were armed and ready, the fear of more spears coming from the shadows. Many battles ended before they truly began. But let's talk about the cost, the human cost. Because every throwing spear represented a choice, a moment when someone decided that violence was necessary. That survival required taking a life or risking their own. I think about the person who threw the first spear in defense of their family. The weight of that decision, the knowledge that they might miss, that the enemy might reach them anyway, that they might die trying to protect the ones they loved. I think about the hands that carved the spear, that tested the balance, that practiced the throw over and over until muscle memory took over. I think about the fear, the hope, the desperation. This wasn't a weapon of conquest, this was a weapon of survival. The throwing spear had limitations. Of course it did. Once thrown, you were temporarily unarmed. You needed a backup, a stone knife, a club, another spear for close combat. It required practice, skill, strength, timing. It was less effective in tight spaces, in dense forests, in narrow cave passages. But in open terrain, in ambush positions, in defensive scenarios, it was devastating. It was the difference between winning and losing, between living and dying. Here's what fascinates me most. This weapon required cooperation, planning, communication. One person throwing a spear could be effective, but a group, a coordinated volley from multiple defenders, that was unstoppable. It meant that communities had to train together, to develop signals, to trust each other, to know that when the moment came, everyone would do their part. The throwing spear didn't just protect individuals, it protected the group, the tribe, the family unit. It reinforced bonds, it created roles, it gave people purpose. Compare this to other weapons of the time. The hand axe required you to get close. The club demanded physical strength and proximity. Even the longer thrusting spear meant engaging in direct combat. The throwing spear was different. It was tactical, strategic. It was about thinking ahead, about creating distance, about controlling the battlefield before the enemy even arrived. In modern terms, it was an opening weapon. It broke formations. It created chaos. It gave the defender the initiative. And in a world where every advantage mattered, where every mistake could mean extinction, that initiative was everything. I want you to imagine one more scene, one final moment. A father stands at the entrance to his shelter. Behind him, his family sleeps, his children, his partner, the people who depend on him. In his hand, a spear, one he made himself, one he's practiced with, one he hopes he'll never have to use. But tonight he hears movement, footsteps, voices that don't belong. He steps forward, into the moonlight, his heart racing, his breath steady. He raises the spear, feels the weight, the balance, the sharpened stone tip that could save everything he loves. And he waits, because that's what the throwing spear gave us. Not just the ability to fight, but the ability to wait, to choose the moment, to strike when the odds were in our favor. It gave us control in a world that offered none. The throwing spear is more than a weapon. It's a testament to human ingenuity, to our ability to adapt, to survive, to protect what matters most. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest strength isn't in confrontation. It's in preparation, in strategy, in the courage to stand between danger and the ones we love. And it's a symbol of something deeper, something that still resonates today, that we will do whatever it takes to protect our families, our communities, our future, even if it means standing alone, even if it means facing the darkness with nothing but a sharpened stick and the will to survive. That's the legacy of the throwing spear. That's the story it tells, a story of fear, of courage, of love. A story that began hundreds of thousands of years ago and continues in every person who refuses to give up, who stands firm, who protects. That story is still being written, and it starts with you.